you know that in those days cars had bumpers that were kind of separate from the car. You could hold on to them. They were nice and shiny. And I just assumed that I was somehow impressed with this shiny bar on the car. And I didn't notice when a gentleman who was the driver came in and said to other kids to maybe to go away. So I was there and looking at that, holding on to it, and the car started going. And I was holding and running behind it happily. And as the car went a little bit faster, I kept holding and then just knelt down. You can imagine what that did to my knees. It was at that time, around that time, my mom heard a voice telling her, "Go and check your daughter." So she just left everything and looked around, and then she saw me. And running behind the car, waving, and so that was my second big issue that I had to deal with in my life. I remember that there was a jar on the table that had a cotton balls. That's my memory from when I was about 2. And that was in an ambulance where they were, I guess, cleaning my knees. For several years after that, my mom always held on to me just to make sure that I'm okay. My knees seem to be doing really fine. Even today, I can walk many, many kilometers. I used to jog, so I'm very happy that that episode also turned out well. A third one, again dealing with physical things, was a time I was about 5. I was going with my mom to visit a lady. We just moved not that long ago from that horrible apartment we lived in into a brand new one, 4 stories high. It had toilet and bathroom inside that you did not need to share with anybody else. We thought we were in heaven already. It is a very small apartment and my mom still lives there. My mom is 88 and she walks up every single day to the 4th floor at least once. There is no lift, so there is no choice but walk. And the people are just amazed that she is able to still do that and take care of herself. So anyway, we were coming back from old apartment where there was a neighbor that my mom went to visit. This lady was sick, and we brought her some lunch, probably cleaned up the house a little bit, and I found something nice while I was there. A little marble. So exciting. In those days, again, there were not too many toys. So for me to have a little marble to play with, I was very excited. And here we are walking back home now. And what do I do with the marble? Well, of course, I play with it. I look at it, I play with it. And my mom told me, don't play with the marble, put it away. But my mom, I guess, was thinking a lot about many other things, as mothers have, many things to worry about. And so she kept going and did not really pay that much attention that I'm still playing with my marble. And what happened was that once I threw the marble, I couldn't catch it, and so the marble fell down and went on the road, and I ran after the marble, and at the same time a motorbike came and just hit me and rolled me quite a few meters. And when he stopped and saw what's happening, he put the gas on and went away. Interestingly, that guy, he was ambulance driver. So, figure that out. My mom ran after me, obviously, picked me up. By that time, I was already bleeding heavily. So she used her clothes to really push on my head, because head is where I got hurt. Pretty much skin just got taken away, and so I was bleeding profusely from the head. Fortunately, hospital was very close, and there was somebody who stopped with a car, and they took me to hospital. So again, a memory from that. I don't remember anything else except a big light. It's a light that was in a surgical room, I guess, where I opened my eyes. So that's the only memory from that particular incident that I remember. So doctors cleaned up the wound again, shaved off my hair. They stitched up my head and sent me home. I was home the same evening, afternoon, whatever. But as they were to leave, my mom and me, the doctor told her to prepare herself, because she doesn't think I will survive. So it was a very serious accident. And I know that not only from the head, but from loss of blood, I should not have survived. But I did. God had a different plan, and probably part of His plan is that I come here this afternoon and share with you, encourage you. So these are the three major events that affected my health. I am really thankful to God that I have not had headaches as a result of my head injury. I could have had who knows what else, but I did not. So I'm really, really grateful for that. So these are some health issues that could have been a really big problem for me, but there are many other things that I have made a choice on how to lead my life, which again brought me maybe to the day that I am here today with you, which also could have been a very different story. So when I was growing up, my dad was an alcoholic. My brother was also an alcoholic. Now, alcoholism tends to run in families. One of the reasons why my brother was alcoholic is because my dad used to take him to the pub and teach him how to do that. So I could have been an alcoholic. Yeah? You agree with me? That's something that would have been pretty normal. But again, I am not. I have chosen not to consume alcohol. My brother and my father were both smokers. They smoked cigarettes. And again, I could have joined them. They would have been very happy probably. Yeah, come, join us. But I decided that I will not go that way. I remember my next door neighbor and I, two girls, one day, because her mom and dad both smoked, so the two of us decided we are going to try. And I don't know where we got cigarettes from. We went downstairs and we tried one. Oh, that was so horrible. I coughed and coughed. And the two of us decided we will never smoke. Well, I kept my word, she did not. She became a really heavy smoker. And she since had also quite a few surgeries and issues in the families, and yeah. But when I come to visit back home, she and I can only visit in certain place where she can smoke, because she smokes every half an hour. She can't help it. And I'm thinking, wow, we were at the same time growing up, and we made two different decisions, and these are the results and the consequences. Amazing. So, let me see, what have I got here for you? And also, what is the time? Plenty of time. If I can think of one thing that I believe was something that kept me in very good condition, although I think it's a variety of things, but one thing I would say is probably something that I have here in the bag to show you. Who knows what that is? Yes, something that you use to exercise. For example, you can do that, and you can just hold, yeah? That exercises your muscles. So, I brought this with me because it represents exercise. I think exercise is something that really helped me in my life. I liked physical activity all my life. In boarding school, I spent 6 years in boarding school, and that's where my high school sweetheart, that is sitting over there, and I met. We spent many hours playing volleyball together, because that was an activity where you could be together and not being seen that you are together. So we did a lot of that exercise. But once you get a family, it becomes more difficult to exercise, isn't it? Once you have maybe another injury, it gets more difficult to exercise. Once you get a job, and many people have a sitting job at the desk, it really takes an effort to do exercise. So, what I would recommend to you is to get into a habit of making choices to exercise. So, for example, when I go upstairs, when there is an option to go upstairs on the stairs, or to go on an escalator or a lift, I choose to go on the stairs rather than escalator or a lift. So choose every single opportunity to move. When I'm working in my office, and if I need to talk to somebody in the office, and there is somebody else here who is working in the same office as I am, so if I want to talk to him, I would go down the stairs and go and visit him and talk, and then go back to my office, so that I don't need to sit all the time. I would say that majority of my life I suffered from mild depression. And I believe that it is the exercise that really, really helped me pull through. When we lived in Papua New Guinea, it is very hot over there, tropical climate. So in the morning, 5:30, I would get up and I would go for a jog around the campus. And then I would do some other exercises and stretches, and I would do that 3 times a week. And then on the weekend I would maybe walk once again around, and that kept me feeling much better. Yeah, so I would certainly recommend that if you are not doing that, to start doing some exercise. To me, it really helps to do it in the morning. And when I have difficult days, when my head is full of stuff, when I'm sad, when there are challenges, I just go for a walk. And a good thing about going outside and exercising is that you have to come back home, right? I don't really like going to the gym. I'm not that motivated, perhaps. You know, when the going gets hard, you can just stop. But if you have gone out and walked or cycled or jogged, you have to come back home. So you just keep on going until you come back home. And it's a good to get yourself a goal. When we moved to Australia, I really struggle with change. So it was a difficult time for me to adjust. And so I just walk. I walk in all sorts of places. Those of you who know maybe where Castle Hill, Walkham Hills is, that's where we live. So I walk from my home to shopping centre and then back, or I walked from our place all the way to Parramatta, then take a bus back. So walking is just very, very good for not only my body, but for my head too. But there is something else, another reason why I brought this here, and that is the yellow color. When you see yellow color, it makes you feel good, makes you feel happy. But to me, it represents sun. I really like going out to the sun. So I could not live in a place like this for long, so we just come for a few hours and then out to the sun. Sun is really good for you. Not too much of it, but a little bit is very good. Going in the bush, going on the beach, checking the nature, it's really, really great. Together with going out as getting some sun, it's good also to breathe very deeply, several times a day. It does wonderful things for us, for our bodies. All right, let's see, what else do I have here? I have quite a few goodies. Oh, I have something else. This is meant to tell you that air is really important for you. I don't need it here because the place is already cold, so I'll just leave it there. Another thing that I decided to do is drink water. Here it is, a nice big bottle. So first thing in the morning when I get up, I drink 2 glasses of water. It is amazing how when you start doing that exercise, you don't realize how thirsty you are. Sometimes I drink 1 glass of water and when I drink it, then I start feeling that I'm thirsty. Then I drink another one, and sometimes I need to drink even a 3rd and 4th one because my body dehydrated during the night so much that I just need so much water. And then during the day, I also drink water several times, so that I probably drink at least 2 of these every day. This is again very, very good for your body, and it's definitely good for my body. So clean water is the best thing you can drink. And I am so grateful that many things which I really disliked when I was a little girl are so good for me now. So one of the things that that me as a little girl didn't like was that we only had water. There was no juices, there were no cordials, there were no soft drinks, they were just too expensive, and we would drink them maybe once in a blue moon, but other than that, water. And yet, water is the best for you. We were so poor, and we had to walk everywhere. As a little girl, I was really disliking that. I so wanted us to have a car. We walked to the supermarket, we walked to the market, we walked to the garden, we walked to the church, we walked to school, we walked to the beach, and that was quite a fair way away. And I was so looking forward to have somebody carry me, or a bus that could take me to places. But you know what? By walking, as I was a girl, I got into a habit of walking. And so now, that habit that I got when I was younger carries me through my life. Because I keep walking and my body feels that it's missing something if I don't walk. So I'm really grateful for that. There was something else as I was a little girl that we didn't have much of, but we had some. I have with me apple, and pretty much every time I see apple, it reminds me of how it was when I was young. So when I was a young girl, we did not have money. You remember I said I had alcoholic brother and father, and a lot of funds were spent that way. So we as a family were very poor, and my mom never bought fruit like that. The fruit that she would buy or get for free would be at the end of the market day. She would go to the market always when the day was closing, because you know how it is, when it's closing, what happens? People just want to give away as much as they can, they lower the price, and so that's what my mom would go and get. And many times we would get fruit, like this apple, and in order to eat it you had to clean the rotten parts, because we could not afford to buy the ones that were good. But we had enough fruit. So we had enough fruit, we just cleaned up what was not nice, and then we ate it. So I'm really, really grateful for that. I like fruit today too. And I have something else here to represent vegetables. This is a cucumber. We used to have cucumbers only in summer. It was really nice having summer salad. So, tomatoes, and capsicum, and cucumber, and a bit of onion maybe, some olive oil, and voila, very nice salad. So this really represents a lot of the food that I grew up with, because my mom, again, could not afford rich food, such as meat. She would buy meat maybe once a month, and maybe cook a bit of a soup with some meat, but the rest, it was potatoes, salad, more salad, and more salad, and bread, and of course we could not afford white bread because it was more expensive, so we ate wholemeal bread, which again, I was like, oh, why can't I have nice white bread like the other people? And yet, wholemeal bread is so much better for you. So we had that, we had some pasta, we had some polenta, we had beans, more salad. So that was my food, and I'm really grateful. These days, when you read about or hear about which type of food is probably the most beneficial, they say it's Mediterranean. Woohoo! That's where I grew up. So very, very grateful for that. And so even today, there is choice that I need to make. And one of the choices is when I go to dinners, parties, you can choose whether you want to eat fruit or cakes when you feel like you want to have something sweet, right? Do you want to have fruit or you want to have chocolate? So you can make a choice. And I urge you to make a choice to the natural stuff, non-processed stuff. And again, if you have a choice between salad and processed salad or processed food, again, better to have fresh. So let's say there is a choice on the table and you have some fried things, lots of fried things and lots of fresh things, but we tend to pile our plates with fried things instead of with fresh things. So I do make a choice to have mostly fresh things, fresh salads, rather than fried. And especially if you start the meal. You know, when you're hungry, I remember that ad with Mr. Bean. He's hungry. You're not yourself when you're hungry. So sometimes when you're hungry, you just go, give me something. And so whatever you can find, you grab. Usually I look around, is there a banana? If I'm really hungry, give me a banana. So I eat the banana, good, now we can wait until proper dinner. Or a carrot, because that is going to satisfy you and make you feel full and won't bring too much fat on your body. Right, so I was really happy that I was in a boarding school where vegetarian food or plant-based food was a regular thing. And we had meals on time, because at home I did not have meals on time. Sometimes I didn't have meals, sometimes I had the same meal over and over and over. So I was really happy to have this regularity. And regularity is something that really helps me. And part of that regularity has to do with one more thing, which I have here with me. What does this represent? Flying. Rest, yes. Rest, sleep and rest. I find it very important to rest. I don't know how people survive who don't. I know some people can go with sleeping only 5 hours. I need about 8. And if I don't, you can see black under my eyes, and my brain just doesn't work the same way. So I need rest. And this is another one of the things that I do in life. I do take rest. Okay, what else do I have in my bag? So far, I have shown you some things that helped me go through life, to come to this moment in life, regardless of the difficulties that I faced. Difficulties both in having accidents as a young person, but also problems growing up in a poor alcoholic family that I did. So some of those things I said, water to me is very important, especially drink water rather than alcohol, which was an obvious choice to me. I ate a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables growing up, and that's what I still do. Exercise, I said, was a really important thing for me that kept me going and still keeps me going. I was tempted to demonstrate some of those skills, but maybe I won't. And also the other thing is to go out to fresh air, sunshine, and soak that in, and proper rest. But there is another thing that kept me going really well, and that is something to do with mental state. And this is one of the little things that tell you about talking with God. Talking with God has to do with your spirituality, but also with your mental health. Talking with God is very important to me. I talk with God a lot. In the morning, I tell Him, thank you for a new day. I'm alive. Many people did not wake up today, but I did. So thank you, God. At the end of the day, I tell God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this wonderful bed. Oh, I'm so glad that I can lie down and sleep. When I hear police or ambulance, then I think, oh, some people are in trouble, and I just offer a quick prayer. God, please be with them. Some people need some help. Send your angels there. I read the Bible, and I find interesting things there that feed my soul. There are promises that are there that again encourage me through the day. There have been days when I would repeat and memorize a verse, and that would really encourage me going through the day, because days were very difficult. We all have difficult days. Maybe today is a difficult day for you, I don't know. But you are here, and I hope that you will be encouraged with what I'm sharing with you. So, talking with God, talking with somebody who is beyond, above you, is really important for your inner soul. Just 2 days ago, I was reading a Bible, and a new thought came there to me, which was, I did not notice it before, and that's probably because this is something that I am trying to overcome in the last few months. Most of my life, as I mentioned before, I was mildly depressed. And that comes out as negative thoughts. So I had a lot of negative thoughts that I needed to deal with. And this text from the Bible was really interesting, because it is mentioned 3 times in 2 verses, something about thinking. These people were thinking, these people were thinking, these people were thinking. And I thought, wow. Jesus knows how important it is to master your thoughts and to be careful of what you are thinking. So now I have written a paper, a page, and I have a column with negative thoughts, and then I replace them with positive thoughts. Something that maybe I can encourage you, if you also struggle with similar things, to do for yourself. For example, a negative thought is, I can't do this. And a positive one to replace that is, I can do all things through Jesus Christ who gives me strength. And there are many other negative thoughts that I myself had to deal with and change them into positive ones. So yeah, I think that I have probably exhausted almost everything in my bag. I have something that came in not as part of my preparation, but this is one of those things which says, be kind to your husband. So I have his tie here just in case he wants it, but I have something else here. You may think I am a complete freak, health freak. This woman is a health freak. No, I'm not. I eat chocolates once in a while. Chocolates. So we have to celebrate life. We don't celebrate enough. We don't, I think personally, that we don't share enough jokes and humor, and that is just so important. So I have chocolates here with me to remind me that sometimes we need to celebrate life and do something special that lifts our spirit up. So that's why I have chocolates with me to remind you and me of that. These particular ones are the Whitakers. Anybody here likes Whitakers? Oh, there are 3 hands up. We have only 2 chocolates. So that will be difficult to share. I got them last night in the plane. The flight attendant just gave me more than one. I thought, oh, okay, I'll bring and share with you. Perhaps just maybe one or 2 points that I want to share with you, which is also part of my health journey. There was time when I thought I have so many things I need to change in my life, and I was like, oh, I can't. So there was just, I need to change this, that, and I just didn't do anything. You know how you come to the New Year's Eve and you have all these goals, you want to achieve all of that, and 2 months into New Year you go, I have done nothing. So what helped me was that I decided I am going to change just one little simple thing, nothing else. I will forget about everything else that I want and need to change in my life. I will do just one thing. So I heard that it's really good for you to have a cold shower once in a while. In fact, the other reason why I wanted that was that our shower was just so cold in winter, and so when you come out of the shower, you just go freezing. So that prompted me, well, if I finish my warm shower with cold shower, then when I open the door, it will not be so freezing outside. Plus, it's really good for your body. You know, it makes your white blood cells get stronger or more of them. It helps with your circulation. If you have some infection, I know for my neck, it really helps. So that's one little thing that I changed. That was 25 years ago, I think. I decided after the shower, warm shower, close it off, turn on the cold. So I go, one hand, another hand, then I go one leg, second leg, and then I go, and then I go around, I scream. And boy, boy, you feel alive once you do that. You feel alive. Anybody here doing something like that? Yep, there are a few hands up. Excellent. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this one change, I kept doing every day. Every time I have a shower, I do that. Whether I'm in cold climate, warm climate, I made it into a habit. And I was absolutely amazed to see how that little opening somehow opened the door to many other changes. I did not even need to work on those. Somehow, just by consciously making this choice of making one change in my life, that opened the door to many other changes in my life, which I'm so very grateful. So yeah, I think I have given you enough stories of my life, my health journey, and if there is any questions, I'm happy to answer. But other than that, I think that's it from me.